Welcome back to A Nurse in the Kitchen. Oh my God. Today I want to talk about my trip to Ghana. As hopefully you've watched the first video about traveling internationally as a single black 60 plus black woman. But I want you to know that that trip was life changing. And I just want to share with you what my experience was all about. So I'm wearing my Ghana hat. I got that at the airport, I think. But those are really colors that you would see underground. Um, I'm not sure if you're familiar with kente. Kente is a weaved type of cloth that they have that's typical of Ghana in the Ashanti region. And it's very popular and it's very regal. And I mean, people use patterns and colors in Africa. They don't just use plain brown and, oh, that's boring. Yeah? I don't think I've seen anybody wear black in Ghana. Everybody, even the guys, they wear those flowery shirts. I just love that. It talks about their spirit and their attitude about life. Uh, let's see. We can start by dispelling some myths about Africa. The media, with the past elections and everything, they blame the media for a lot. But I think I'm starting to realize how when they have an idea, they don't just present it in an unbiased fashion. And it's not something that they do once or twice. It's like they just drill it. They go on and on. Like when there is some news, that's all they talk about for 2 or 3 weeks. Now, Africa, I don't want to go into a whole history because I don't know the whole history that well myself. But this is a continent that has been pillaged, that has been broken up, and everybody in their mama in Europe just decided they wanted a piece over here, a piece over there, because there are so many resources on the continent, and they all have their hand out. We have diamond, they have gold, we have all kind of minerals, and the country is rich, right? So after they colonized the whole continent, took over, brutalized, murdered, our ancestors, brought them over here forcibly, thousands, and half of them died on the trip over. Let me just not get into that because it just breaks my heart. And under the guise of bringing Christianity to Africa, they just brought all their ways, just like when the Europeans went to Canada and they wanted to brainwash the little Indians and they didn't want them to be Indian anymore. They changed their names and they tried to do a reprogramming. It's just so much has been done in the name of, they're trying to civilize the savages in Africa. So once, all multiple countries gained independence in the 50s, 60s, and Ghana was the first to obtain independence from the British, they decided they wanted to paint the continent as a place that is dangerous. We have wild animals running the streets and all the little children are starving and they have flies all over. Therefore, they need us. They cannot govern themselves and they're savages. So we have to bring them into to make them more civilized. So that has been drilled over and over and over. So what happens is that everybody has this fear of Africa. They think, oh my God, they hear about Ebola, they think all of Africa had Ebola. They think about HIV. They already said that it started in Africa. They think everybody's dying of HIV. So this mental image has caused so much damage. But now the narrative is changing. When you go to Africa, I see so many whites there, so many Asians, Indians, Arabs. So I'm like, well, if they're here, they're not afraid. Why should I be afraid? And of course, people know that I've traveled on all my feeds on Facebook. Yes, be careful. Oh, be careful. Be safe. Oh, be careful. I mean, in the beginning, it was cute. I was like, thank you, thank you. After a while, it got annoying. It's like, why should I be that careful if I'm going to have fun? I'm going to the motherland. But yeah, it is quite disturbing. It is quite disturbing. Anyway, so I decided Ghana is the first country that I was going to visit because Ghana has gone out of its way to invite the diaspora and people of African origins to return to the motherland. I remember watching the president saying, no longer will a group of people come to our shores and enslave our people. And I was like, oh my God, this is such a beautiful message. And he said, come home, come home. So we want to learn about our ancestry. So, I mean, I'm Caribbean. I'm not African American. We know in the Caribbean where we come from. We know we're from Mother Africa and that we are a mix of the Africans and the Europeans. But I think African Americans have had a little bit more of a difficult awareness as to who they are and where they come from. But the information is out there for you to know that, yes, you are of African descent. If you have this dark skin, yes, you are of African descent, right? So I wanted to go visit. And I have to, I'm ashamed to say that I live all these 60 years. There wasn't a burning desire for me to explore my roots. So after hearing that speech from the president, Ado, I don't want to mess up his name, but the current Ghanaian president, I said, you know what? I need to go check it out. So I plan to visit Ghana. And there was a year of return, 2019, that's when the president made that, he coined that year, the year of return. So he asked African American Caribbeans to come home and explore and find out our roots. So I did my ancestry DNA, and then I did African DNA. I did two of them. One of them said my lineage from my mother's side was from Cameroon. And then when I did the African, it says I'm Yoruba, which is a tribe in Nigeria. So that West African area, that's where most of us are from. And that's where they have the slave castles, which means once they hunted down those Africans who they deem strong to be able to come and work their land so they can enrich themselves on the backs of those enslaved Africans that are working for free. They never paid them anything. They abused them, killed them, maimed them. So we are mostly from West African. That's where because the Atlantic Ocean was there. That was the exit point for a lot of us. And a lot of us from the Caribbean, we left out of Ghana. So once I decided to go to Ghana, and from the previous video, I told you about how you go about finding out what's needed. I already had a passport because I've traveled before. So I had to figure out, how do I get a visa? Now, to go to Ghana, I think you can get a visa on arrival, but I didn't want to do that. They want you to go to the embassy. So I took my pictures, and then they had a list of things you needed to do. You need to send a picture. You have to do your yellow fever card, which I had. It's a yellow card. Then you could have, I think, a single entry visa, or you can have a multiple entry visa. I decided to do the multiple. I think it's good for 5 years. So if I wanted to go back to Ghana today, I could go back again. And the visa is in my passport. I belong to different Facebook groups out of Ghana and out of other places in Africa. Remember, it's a continent, people. It's not one country. Ooh, sometimes the ignorance is staggering. They're like, "Oh, you're going to Africa?" I was like, "Yeah." Talk about Ebola. Well, Ebola was in Liberia. It's not everywhere else. HIV, yes, it's prevalent in a lot of countries, but it's not, rampant. I mean, it was, but we've come a long way, thank goodness. So, got my visa. Listened to some of the people in the group as to transportation, what to do when I got there, getting my SIM card, and some of the different places. Now, you go to Ghana, from what I said before, you want to make sure you go visit the castles, the slave castles. They have 2 slave castles. I think they have 3, but 2. One is in Elmina, which is a town that is, I don't know, about 2 hours out of the capital, Accra. And then a few miles apart is the other castle in Cape Coast. So I did book a tour and we did both castles in one day. And oh my, they preserved the castle. And just like the Holocaust, some people say the Holocaust didn't happen. Yeah. And I think if those castles were not there, they would say that, "Oh no, we didn't have slavery." And there were 2 very well-versed guys who told us the history. In Elmina, they talk about the German and the Portuguese, and they all wanted a piece of the pie. And it was an Anglican priest, and I need to do some research and do a video on that, who sent a request to the Spanish Parliament and said, "Oh yes, we discovered this new world." Remember, Christopher Columbus discovered. Stop, Lulu. We need those Africans because they knew that the Indians were dying. They're not used to that harsh type of work that the greedy Europeans wanted them to do. So they were dying. So they wanted these strong black men. They did get women too, to go toil and work the land so they can enrich themselves. It's funny how it's always about the green. All sorts of crimes are committed because of the love of money and power. And money translates to power. People are killing themselves, killing each other for money. But yet, you can go take it with you. I don't know. I don't know how people can't see that. I don't know. Okay, so I got to Ghana. Let's see. I think I arrived because, most of your flight over the Atlantic Ocean are overnight, right? So I flew out of Orlando to Dulles Airport in Maryland, I think. And then it was a 9.5-hour flight over the ocean to get to Accra, Ghana. So I got there like about, I want to say 10-ish in the morning. So I needed a COVID test to even get on the plane, $150. I flew United. United contracted with, I said Walgreens, I think it was CVS. I got the results in like 3 hours or so, but it has to be a PCR. It cannot be a rapid test. So they want to see that, once you go check in. The other thing you had to do to go to Ghana, there is a health form that is online that you're supposed to complete. Now, I'm asking you, if you have any access to a printer, make sure you have multiple copies of your COVID test in that health form. My printer was acting up, so everything was saved on my phone. They didn't give me a hard time about that. Then you also had to pay for a COVID test on arrival, okay, in Accra, Ghana. Now, the timing of the COVID test, they're saying it cannot be over 72 hours from when you board your plane, okay? So I was traveling on a Friday. I took my test on a Wednesday because I know I was going to end there on Saturday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I was within the 72 hours. So be very careful. Don't get your test on a Tuesday if you're traveling on Friday. You're going to be too early. So by the time you get there, it might be over 72 hours and you might run into a little bit of problem, okay? Now, you had to pay ahead for another COVID test on arrival. So before you got your luggage, but then you got stopped that you had to take that COVID test. I think this one, I think it was in the nose. But she handed me the swab and I did it myself, so it wasn't bad. Lulu, shh, stop it. So you had to pay for the test ahead of time, $150, which everybody bemoans that. I really think it's too expensive to do that because Ghana is the only country that charges you $150. Every other country, like the Rwanda, I went to Rwanda, it's only $60. So, you know, that's not nice. I think it's too expensive. So you had to pay ahead of time. They do it. If you're negative, then you go. Now, if you test positive, Lulu, stop. Now, think about it. They tell you if by any chance you test positive, and it is quite possible because you are on a plane with a bunch of people, somebody may be infected, even if you're vaccinated or not, you could test positive. If you test positive, you're going to be quarantined, and you're going to have to be responsible for your food, your hotel. So that's going to extend your stay. So you have to plan and budget for that eventuality. So it's not something that people want to think about, but it has happened. There was a lady who was really beside herself when she tested positive. She started arguing, and they're not going to argue. And remember, when you're in a different country, you don't show out like you think you're here in America, you have freedom of speech. No. You have to go by African law, and they don't play around with that. Then you start shouting at the mouth, you're going to get in trouble. Okay? All right. So once you get out, I had a pickup schedule. The guy was nowhere to be found. And of course, I look like an easy prey. So these two guys approached me. Oh, why do you need blah, blah, blah? Oh, let me show you how you can get a SIM card. Because I was hoping my pickup person was going to help me transition and exchange some money and then get a SIM card. Well, he wasn't there. So these guys are like, oh, I'll take you over there. And they'll get the phone for you. Okay, so he got me over there. They got me the phone, and then the hand came out. So I ended up paying like $20, $25 for that. And that was okay. So that's another thing. Make sure you have enough cash on you that you're going to be able to pay somebody or tip somebody to help you. Because you're in a different country, don't be stingy. I don't mean give your money away, but understand that that's how they make a living, okay? And if you are a tourist, they know you come with these American dollars, okay? All right, so finally, when I was working with them, trying to figure out how I'm going to get to the Airbnb, my Airbnb lady called me. She's like, have you landed? Do you have a ride? And I was like, no, the guy's not here. Because my flight happened to be early, so the guy wasn't there to pick me up. So he said, I'm going to send somebody to pick you up. So she sent an Uber, or the equivalent of an Uber, to come get me. Ended up costing me like 30 CDs, which is like $5. So it wasn't that big a deal. And then she had water for me. But let me tell you, this lady was the sweetest lady. She was a young woman. Well, to me, she's young. She is an engineer, software engineer. She says she has worked in Switzerland and Germany, and then she started to come home. So she opened an Airbnb. She's putting her son to college, and she's a go-getter, let me tell you. She has upstairs, downstairs, and she does long stays. People stay with her for like a month or more. I mean, it wasn't, the amenities weren't the best, right? The beds, oh my God. I had learned about Ghana mattresses, and I've heard another couple said this is the one wish, one regret they have, that they didn't pack their posturepedic mattress. And I'm thinking, you want to pack a posturepedic mattress and put it on the ship to take it to Ghana? I understand why. This bed, they love foam, some kind of foam, and that bed was hard. Now, when I first got there, I think I was jet lagged because prior to traveling, had been up for over 24 hours because I was still packing, and I worked the day of departure. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you're going to travel that kind of trip, make sure you have a day or two free before you fly so you can settle down, get yourself situated. I was just running ragged, and it's not good. Don't do what I did. So, I mean, when I first got there, I was so tired. Maybe I didn't notice it, but I was there for 2 weeks, and oh my God, it was not good. Shower was okay. The water, I think she had some warm water, some hot water, but it didn't bother me because it was so hot. So I didn't mind the cold. I let the water run a little bit, and then I put it on. Yeah, I was just very thankful that I had water to take a shower, okay? Like I said, I had bottled water for everything, so that was good. Food was an issue because she had like a kitchen because it was like a shared accommodation. I don't like to use other people's stuff. So I had to, when I went outside, I had to make sure I brought some food with me. Oh my God. A couple of times, no, that wasn't Wanda. In Wanda, there were a couple of days where I didn't have any food because I was having trouble with my SIM card and I could not have food delivered. Oh my goodness. And also mosquitoes. I don't think I mentioned that in the other video. Make sure you have your yellow fever vaccine. That doesn't mean you can't catch malaria. And they tell me malaria is like bad flu. You don't want to have that. So 5 to 7 in the afternoon, they say that's when they come out to feed. So I made sure I wasn't out around those times. But there were a couple of times I went someplace to get some food, and I walked to my Airbnb because it wasn't that far. The first time I walked, I was a little bit concerned because this car went behind me and then it stopped, and there were like 3 guys, and I was like, oh Lord, here we go. Oh Lord, here we go. But they didn't approach me, and I walked, and and then I did that 2 other times where I didn't feel threatened at all. People were out there listening to their radios. We were close to the airport. They'd be standing there watching the planes take off, and I didn't feel threatened or unsafe at all. So make sure you understand how you're going to get food if you are not in a hotel with a restaurant. Even with the restaurant, you probably want to eat somewhere else outside. So be very strategic as to where you stay and what they have around you, okay? Especially if you're alone, you want to be able to have access to restaurants. Now, I had some snacks, so I had some cookies and some chips or whatever, so I wasn't starving. Of course, I don't want to put all that stuff in me because, I don't usually eat that. And because you want to keep yourself safe, in addition to not drinking the water, I did not eat any fresh fruit. I didn't eat any fresh vegetable. So when I came back home, I had to get my GI system going again because I didn't drink a lot of water in Wanda, and then I was a little bit tight down there. So I started drinking a lot of water and getting my vegetables in, and I was fine. Let's see. The airport, we talked about that. The people of Ghana are some of the nicest people. Starting with my landlady, who was so helpful. She texts me every morning. Good morning, dear Maggie. How are you? Are you okay? Doing anything? I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. And I was telling people I did not see a Ghanaian upset the whole time I was there. Now, traffic. OMG. In Accra, there's traffic. I've driven in New York City. I've driven in ATL. Traffic in Ghana is a whole different level of traffic, okay? It's like when the light goes on, turning left or right, everybody goes. It's like whoever can get over, however way you get it, there's no rhyme or reason. On the highway, they stay. Well, no, I was on a highway, and there was 2 lanes the way we're going. It turned into 4. They go on the side backward, and then you get all those motor taxis. Do they have them? Yeah, they did have some in Ghana, but they had the most in Rwanda, in Kigali. And those things they don't observe the traffic law. They just go in sideways, right, left. Oh my God, yes. And then people are, in the back of them. I'm like, no, I'm not getting on. I'm not that well coordinated. So traffic is a nightmare. The roads are terrible. There are potholes everywhere. Where I was living, most of the roads were unpaved, and it was like going here, bum, 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 bum. I'm like, okay, it's a good thing, you don't have back problem. If you do, don't go to Accra. Your back is gonna go out. Those potholes were I read somewhere that it would knock your glasses out. It would pop the hood. It's like whiplash. Oh my God, this is real. Those roads are terrible. I think it's so sad. But even in that traffic where, they only honk each other if they're going to tell you, I'm going to pass. But they're never upset with each other because that's just the way life is there. Yeah, it's crazy. The food now. Now, personally, I wasn't crazy about the food. Now, please don't come after me for that. I tried fufu, didn't like it. I tried bunku. It was a little sour. I didn't like it. They eat a lot of chicken and they eat a lot of goat. The goats are everywhere. There was one family of aunties, uncles, daddy, grandpa, babies, cousins. There was like maybe 50 of them at one time. They're all over the place. They're the cutest thing. And I was like, I want them as pets. I don't want to eat them. So they have soups that you scoop the fufu, which is a mixture of cassava and plantain and stuff, and you scoop and eat with your hand. I had it in my room. I was trying it. I did get the soup. It's an acquired taste, I'm sure, but I didn't care for it. They eat a lot of goat, not curry goat, but there's something called wache, I guess, and it's got some kind of mixture of meat and they got pasta. They love pasta for some reason. They like the sweet plantains. Yeah, I can dig that. I ate the sweet plantain. They eat some beef. You know what I didn't see in Africa? I didn't see pork. If they eat it, I just didn't see it. Okay. They do have vegetables, but vegetables are not something that, just like in my culture in Haiti, we have a lot of spinach and stuff that we put in our meat. But in Ghana, it's not something that is pushed. It is not a major part of the diet. There was a lot of bread, a lot of root, like I said, sweet potatoes, plantains, cassava, meats, but not so many vegetables. So that is something to keep in mind. And of course, because I wasn't eating the fresh stuff, so I was deprived of all that. And I'm a vegetable and fruit fanatic. So the culture, oh my God, it's a very paternalistic society. In fact, one thing I did not like that I've heard over and over, if you want to start a business in Ghana and you're not Ghanaian, you need to hook up with a Ghanaian, and if you're female, possibly a male, to go speak for you and get things going. And that is something that would be a problem for me because I am independent. I've been single for so long. To need a male to do things for me would be a problem, but that's the way it is. And it's still very conservative. Family is very important. And there's a lot of respect for the elderly. I love that. They call me auntie. And Ghanaians don't ever want to see you standing up. They always say, please sit, please sit. And they say please in front of everything they say to you. Please, how are you? Please, can I help you? When I get there to the place in the afternoon after I've been gone gallivanting to the city, and my landlady would say, you are welcome. That's how they say, hi, welcome back. It's so sweet. I just love that culture. Children, I didn't see too many children, but the ones that I saw were very subdued and well-behaved and quiet. Okay? So children are definitely seen and not heard. The population is very, very young. So, because usually when I'm in the cab, I'm always asking, wherever I go, I always interact with, in Panama and South America, I always interact with my cab drivers so I can get some information. And I say, where are the old people? And they say, oh, they're in the villages. So old people are not seen either because they don't want to be, I guess, in the crazy traffic, but I did not see many older people. Because, the life expectancy in each country is a little bit different. So I'm assuming it's like in the 60s because when they ask me how old I am, when I say I'm 63, they're like, no, yeah. Because to them at 63, I should be old and decrepit, because, and of course, on the faces of the people who are just in Ghanaians, they hustle for every single day to make a living. So you have the sun and the heat and the struggle. Sometimes it's etched on their faces that they've had a hard life. That's what I notice, okay? But they are very hardworking people. That's why when I saw a Chinese one time on one of those Facebook things, he was like, oh, Africans are lazy. And I'm like, seriously? Do you want to go there? After we've been on those ships and worked those fields from sun up to sundown, you dare call us lazy? I couldn't relate to that. Dress code, very conservative. I only saw one woman in shorts. They do wear pants, but otherwise they wear those very colorful outfits. Even the men, okay? And in stature, Ghanaians tend to be smaller in stature, men and women. I did see a couple of tall young people, but it could be, maybe they're from the States or the food that they're eating, all this hormones that we have in our food, which they don't have over there. But they do still have to take care of their crops. So I'm sure there is some type of fertilizers that are used. But generally, they're smaller, medium built. So that's why for me to get some sandals, or I'm like, with my big feet, I couldn't find anything that fit me. Manners, like I said, very respectful. And I think compared to Rwandan, then when I do the one on Rwanda, you will understand that Ghanaians are more sensitized to seeing foreigners, okay? Especially with the year of return. They say like 1 million plus African Americans went and visited Ghana. and it would have been beyond the return in 2020, but COVID hit. So it put a stop to it. But I think they're going to start to get that back going, to encouraging diasporans to return home. So manners, very well mannered, very helpful, very respectful. Oh, makes my heart sing. Very open to visitors. Now, of course, they don't want us to go out there and show out and just acting superior. You know, a lot of people on the ground caution people like me when we go over there, don't start, you know, acting naughty with your nose up in the air. Like, you know, they're going to say, oh, they're going to save Africa. Oh my gosh, they just don't want to hear that. So you're there, you appreciate the culture, you visit, you are embracing their culture, they will embrace you. But if you start acting haughty, you're going to be in trouble. Okay? The climate, you know, Ghana is in the middle of this continent, and it's close to the equator. So it gets really hot, right? But they do have a rainy season and a dry season. But when I was there, I mean, they had a couple of nice rain, but it wasn't like it rains all day. No. Business climate, you know, I think any business in Africa has potential to do well just because of the sheer number of people. And for diasporans, there are a lot of opportunities: tourism, roads, infrastructure, healthcare. Well, healthcare is, they do have a type of government-sponsored insurance that is very, very basic. Maybe it pays for like a DFAW, IV, the bed, but anything else that you need as you go into a hospital, families have to pay, which is pretty much similar to what I'm familiar with in the islands. Tourism is big. So, of course, I was in Accra. I was in the capital. I did get an opportunity to go outside to another little town. And then I went to see the castles. Like I said, I'm going to do a video specifically about those castles. But they have the northern region where they have a lot of beautiful scenery. The temperature is better. They have the Volta region. The Volta Lake is man-made, the largest man-made lake. And I was really wanting to go. But then it's like an overnight type of tour. And my time was getting so tight. So I had to go back. I got to go back. So I think that's pretty much it. I am very open to other cultures. I'm very curious about other cultures. I ask lots of questions. Not that I want to compare the US to anywhere I go. Of course, it's in the back of your mind, but you don't want to verbalize that, oh, we don't do it over like that over there. They don't care about that. You in their country, you know, in their territory. So we have to respect that. So I consider it a huge privilege that God has allowed me to go visit Mother Africa. And of course, like a lot of other people, Ghana is the first point of entry. But I'm happy I had a chance to go to Rwanda. I had some business ideas there I was looking at. I'm looking forward. I'd love to go to Botswana. I'd like to go to South Africa, even though I couldn't live there because of the remnant of apartheid. I'd love to go to Tanzania and go to Zanzibar. Where else would I like to go? The Congo? I don't know. I'm a little bit skittish about it. I went to Rwanda, and there is such a history there, and it just, it broke my soul. So I don't know. But anyway, if you guys have any question, you can put them in the comments. You know, I haven't looked at my YouTube channel for a while now. I had a couple of scheduled videos before I left. So I need to start cooking and putting some recipes. Today I wanted to do a vegetable chili, but I came back from the store and I was like, I'm tired. So I didn't do anything. And that's what happens, when you by yourself, you don't have to cook if you don't feel like it, right? Because, I had some chicken and chicken doesn't do me good anymore. I have to give it up. I got some fish. I do better with fish. I just need to leave chicken alone. I really need to be a vegan, but I just can't. I can't. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy this video. I know it's a little bit long, but it gives you an idea of what to expect if you should decide to visit Africa. Now, my next trip, I'd like, in addition to going back to Africa, I'd like to visit multiple countries when I go back, but I'd like to go to South Korea. I need to go to India. I want to go to Australia. South America, I need to go to Argentina, Colombia, and I want to go to most of the Caribbean islands. So I got places to go. Chop, chop. So that's why I need to retire soon so I can go to all these places. Because when you're working and you're asking for time off and they start frowning, telling you it's paid or unpaid, gets annoying. And at this stage in life, I've worked 30 plus years. I'm ready. I'm ready to put it down. Anyway, God bless you guys. I love you. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Au revoir. À la prochaine.